You do think of it, and you think about it when you're alone in a vehicle. They had told us that they thought that he was probably brain dead, and then asked us in the next sentence if we would think about organ donations. We had no idea what he thought. We had never had that conversation.
That conversation, the one with a loved one about organ and tissue donation. Margaret Miller hadn't given it a thought. That is, until that day, 17 years ago, when her son Bruce died in a car crash. A police officer off duty at the time, he seemed invincible to her. Having to speak for him once he was dead was almost too much to bear.
At that point, it was like, no, we're not going there, we're not thinking about that.
Dr. Steve Bede runs the Nova Scotia Organ and Tissue Donation Program and is a proponent of a new law that presumes you are an organ donor upon death, helping families with that difficult conversation at their worst hour.
We are presuming that if individuals had not registered to opt out or told their families or loved ones that they did not want to opt out, then we will proceed with donation if medically appropriate.
But the law still respects those who decide not to donate.
We specifically built an opt-out registry for those individuals who choose that. So my hope is that we're providing the best end-of-life care and we're supporting families, and most of them will decide to donate.
There has always been a gap between those who support donation and those who officially register. And it matters, because the need for life-saving organs and tissue is so massive.
In Atlantic Canada, there's around 300 people who are awaiting an organ. We've had, for most of the last decade, about 20 donors for the entire year. So missing a single donor is a big deal.
We in Nova Scotia will be trailblazers on this issue.
And so Nova Scotia's Human Organ and Tissue Donation Act, a first of its kind in North America, aims to save more lives. It took political clout to make it happen.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Bill 133, the Human Organ and Tissue Donation Act, be now read a third time and do pass.
Nova Scotia Premier Stephen McNeil pushed for this, essentially making every Nova Scotian a donor unless they opt out of the program.
I want to thank the Premier for being a champion of this bill. He will never know the full impact it will make on the lives of Nova Scotians.
Margaret, who is also an MLA, participated in the very vote to make it legal. Her son's memory never far away.
There were a lot of tears shed that night, and it was a very emotional time. It really showed truly what government can be.
Yeah.
And now others, touched by that night and by tragedy, are watching. Some thousands of kilometers away. Among them, Cindy and Trent Krieger in Calgary, parents of Braden and Morgan.
Morgan loved to sing. She loved to dance. Her passion in life was to help others.
In 2018, Cindy and Trent got the call to come to Nova Scotia, where Morgan was attending university. When they arrived at her bedside, they found their daughter near death after having severe seizures.
We sat with her for 2-3 days, and then they had asked us if she wanted to be an organ donor, and funny enough, we knew she did because we'd had that discussion, and we always try to look for the positive, as Morgan did, and just to know that Morgan could do something good and we could be there with her in this journey.
A journey that ultimately led them to Monique Peltier, a complete stranger back in Halifax, the recipient of Morgan's heart. If you could talk to Morgan right now, what would you say?
I would thank for her bravery and for making that choice. And I would also extend thanks to her family for supporting her, because that's also a huge thing. That's a very, very brave thing.
Eventually, Monique and the Kriegers were able to meet, a rarity in the world of organ and tissue donation.
Last January, we went out to Nova Scotia, and we had the opportunity to meet Monique and listen to her heart again. We've formed a beautiful relationship. We're very, very grateful we've gotten to know her. Hi, Monique. How are you?
Good. How are you? How's your day going?
It's going good. It's a little chilly here, but it's going
Cindy
good.
and Monique talk daily
Good.
now.
I see you sitting outside.
The new law will help better facilitate meetings between donors and recipients if they so
It's
choose.
hard to believe it's been a year
I know.
since we've met each other.
I know. It goes by fast.
And there's little messages on most of them.
It never really gets any easier. But in an incredible coincidence, the unprecedented law comes into effect in Nova Scotia on the very anniversary of Morgan's death. Could it be the beginning of something bigger? The Kriegers wonder.
Just wanted to be able to have this conversation and learn about your story.
Yeah, so 3 years ago today, actually. Was
Calgary Region MLA R.J. Sigerson recently put forward an opt-out bill for Alberta. Cindy is lending her voice to the efforts to get it passed.
I just want to help if I can. And I know Morgan does too.
The Millers have found peace as well since the loss of their son.
Yeah.
The day Bruce died, they ultimately did decide to donate some of his organs.
All about the horses and dogs.
And now, all these years later, Margaret's husband Robert is a 3-time recipient of cornea tissue, the gift of sight.
Has it kind of come full circle for you in some ways?
Oh, it did, especially that night when we were talking about the bill, to say, we were able to donate Bruce's organs, that he was able to give that gift of life. This is the opportunity to really, to not bury hope. For me, there's no choice that organ donation is always the right thing to do.
For the Millers, they now see clearly how the gift that can be born of loss really can come full circle. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Enfield, Nova Scotia.